Good morning, traders, and welcome to this episode of NewsWare's Trade Talk for Monday, December 8th. Okay, let's get into the action. Take a look at the S&Ps. We're up 0.16%, positive opening. We've been higher pretty much all morning long, which is positive. It's a muted gains, but still positive. The key factor this week is the Fed meeting. I mean, the odds of a rate cut are 88%. That's an 88% chance of a 25 basis point cut, which will bring the Fed funds rate to 3.75 to 4%. Now, the key really to this meeting is going to be the comments after the meeting. I mean, the expectation right now is for a temporary pause after, a rate cut this month. And that could be announced, could be clear. Remember what Powell said last time. He said, that a rate cut in December is not a foregone conclusion. But, after those comments from New York Fed Bank President James Williams recently, I mean, the odds just have started to spike higher. So it does look like we will get a rate cut this week. Let's not forget the ECB and the BOE are also having monetary policy meetings this week, and the BOJ is having one next week. In terms of corporate news, we got to talk about IBM. They just announced a deal to purchase Confluent, CLFT, Charlie, Larry, Frank, Tom. To President Trump. He's going to be participating in a roundtable discussion today. He's likely going to be, talking about a $12 billion support package to farmers. We've got to keep an eye on that. That's happening at 2 p.m. What else do we have? OpenAI this week. They're going to be releasing that new model that they want to, show that it's better than what Google Gemini did. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but they are releasing a new AI model this week. On the earnings front, good week for earnings. We got Broadcom, we got Oracle, we got Costco, we got Lululemon all scheduled to report this week. So, that's kind of positive. That's a good factor for the markets this week. Taking a look overseas, and we're going to see what's going on in Europe. And, we look at the DAX, and, the DAX is higher. It's up 0.22%, or 52 points. We're seeing some gains in healthcare, in industrials. Consumer-related stocks are weakening. The FTSE is flat. It's right now it's down 2 points. It was up 2 points. It's just it's directionless kind of right now. It's really looking for a catalyst. In Paris, the CAC is down 0.16%. I'm seeing some underperformance in luxury stocks, and that's really what's pulling that index lower this morning. Then turning our attention over to Asia last night. And Asia was, kind of higher. I mean, the Nikkei rose 90 points, 0.18%, with positive action in banking and real estate stocks. Hong Kong did finish lower. That was down 300 points, 319 points, or 1.23%, with weakness in tech and financials. But China, the Shanghai, was positive by 0.54%, with gains in tech and clean energy shares, which helped that index move higher on the day. Then we're talking about oil prices, and oil prices are weakening this morning. We are seeing some weakness in oil. We got WTI trading at $59.26 a barrel. That's down 1.36%. We got Brent trading at $62.94 a barrel. That's down 1.27%. What's causing the weakness? I think it's about the upcoming reports that are due out this week. Remember, we got reports coming out from the IEA and OPEC this week, and they're going to be talking about production surpluses, which is likely going to create some near-term weakness for oil. Those Russian-Ukraine peace talks, they're essentially stalled. Both sides are unwilling to move. And you have no movement really going on in Venezuela with the U.S. military and their, said buildup around that area. So we got to point to these stockpile reports, and indications are that we're going to be looking at surpluses, which is negative for oil prices, and that's what the market is focused on this morning. Okay, now we're moving over to earnings. Nothing came out this morning. But after the bell today, you got Toll Brothers, ticker TOL, Tom, Oscar, Larry. Their EPS is $4.87. The expected move here is 7.23% when they release. Economic front, it's light. We're not seeing any economic reports come out this morning that are due out this morning. But, the attention really is on the Fed. I mean, we got to, pay attention to the Fed. And remember, this month's meeting is going to come with an updated path on interest rates. For the summary of economic projections, that report will come out. It'll be interesting to see what they say after a rate cut, if they do that this week, to see what the projections are going to be for 2026. Okay, now let's take a look and let's move on and let's see what's happening in the markets this morning. Looking at my Dow stocks, it's 16 lower, 13 higher, a couple unchanged, kind of mixed this morning. Seeing some, Goldman's having some positive gains. It's up 0.5% this morning. That's interesting. In terms of the FANG stocks, it's most of them are lower. We are seeing some positive action in Amazon and Netflix, though. In terms of news behind the tape, we're looking at Apple, and we're just talking about this app that they have that tracks federal immigration officers. Lawmakers are asking Google and Apple to remove those apps. They're like, you can't do that. Well, they're doing it. Amazon is said to be in the lead for $81 million in financing for the battery startup named Blue, BLUE. Meta, ticker META, they're delaying the release of their mixed reality glasses, codenamed Phoenix. Maybe, probably to the second half of 2026, looks like. In terms of Dow Jones 30 stocks, IBM, they announced that deal to acquire Confluent, CLFT, Charlie, Larry, Frank, Tom. That's an $11 billion deal. Boeing said that acquisition of Spirit, the parts manufacturer, could close as early as today. Boeing stocks trading higher this morning. United Healthcare, UNH lawmakers have yet to agree on a healthcare plan ahead of this week's vote. Hey, listen, UNH has a big lobbying. Watch them twist some arms this week. In terms of merger news, you got to talk about the WBD Netflix mergers. That's still a hot one. President Trump came out and said, hey, a Netflix Warner Brothers deal could be a problem. I mean, here's the issue. The deal has to obtain regulatory approval. Now, Netflix won the deal. WBD wanted to go with a big name tech firm. P-Sky was offering a good deal, but that was turned down. And the reason why it was turned down was because they felt that the Netflix would offer an overall better deal for them. The issue here is Larry Ellison, the backer of P-Sky. He's a good friend of Donald Trump, so it's another example of, friends of Donald getting, attention. So I'm not sure if this deal will happen or not, but we'll keep an eye on it for any issues. Could be, if the deal doesn't go through, I mean, Netflix could be trading, 10 points higher. Let's see what else. In terms of shareholders meeting, Madison Square Garden, ticker MSGS, Michael Sam, Grace Sam, they're scheduled to have a shareholders meeting today. It starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Baidu, BIDU, Citibank opens up a 90-day catalyst watch on Baidu. Okay, let's talk about my stock pick of the day. I'm going to go with SailPoint, ticker SAIL, Sam, Apple, India, Larry. Listen, earnings are out tomorrow morning. The EPS is 6 cents. I mean, their guidance was 5 to 6 cents. The EPS is definitely at 6 cents. But remember, last quarter they did a guide and raise, and the CEO was very positive on that call. The expected move on this stock is 13.34%. Now you look at Friday's call volume. I mean, 777 calls versus 33 puts. It's very positive. And the open interest, 9,221 calls versus 2,269 puts. Wow, they're it's very, very bullish, very bullish. And, major brokers, they've been raising their opinions on the stock. That's good to see. Raising opinions is better than raising price targets. That's for sure. In terms of an entry point for sales point, listen, you look at the stock, it's trading 2020 to 2050. I'm going to say $20. Give or take, 15 cents as an entry point. But that's my pick of the day. SailPoint, ticker SAIL, Sam, Apple, India, Larry, $20. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the news that's hitting the tape over the last 15, 20 minutes. NCINCO, NCNO, Nancy Charlie, Nancy Asker, their board authorized $100 million stock repurchasing plan. Ooh, CRH, Charlie Richard Henry. They're going to join the S&P 500 index. And that's going to happen prior to the opening on next Monday, Monday the 20, or I should say two Mondays from now, Monday the 22nd. CoreWeave down this morning, the pre-market. They're doing a $2 billion convertible debt offering. That's what's causing the weakness. Let's see what else I got here. Ollie's Bargain Basement, OLLI, they're releasing earnings tomorrow morning. Lilly, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson have all secured spots in China's drug catalog. That's positive. Pfizer reports that their hemophobia treatment reduces bleeding episodes by 93%. AstraZeneca, AZN got added to the J.P. Morgan analyst focus list this morning. Trump's out there talking to his top advisors, asking them to find ways to lower beef prices. That's all I'm seeing this morning. Okay, let's move on and let's talk about Friday's pick of the day, which was Netflix. And the stock performed, as we thought. I mean, at the end of the day, the stock opened up at $98.77, and it ran all the way and hit a high of 104.79. It closed at 124. So off the opening price, it definitely was there, the 1%. I was looking for 96. I had my order in at 96. That was my entry point. I was waiting. I never got filled, so I didn't. It wasn't a winner for me, but it definitely did win off the opening print. With a gain of 4 or 5%. But so the 1% was definitely there. But it's still got some legs. We know that this deal with Warner Brothers is going to be cautious. They're going to continue to try and say that YouTube has all of the viewership. Not really true, but we'll keep an eye on this one to see if there's any regulatory issues that causes this deal to fade. And if it does, Netflix does move higher. Okay, guys, that concludes today's podcast. And traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and let's make some green.